Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Visionary Effect, the podcast for true visionaries. My name is Richelle Mordecai, your host. And today I have a fellow Brazilian with me. And it's so interesting. I don't know if it's just me thing or if it's a Brazilian thing, or I talk to a lot of immigrants that when they come to America and they find somebody from their country, it's almost like that immediate connection. But this guy here is a rock star. He's a mover and shaker for the restoration industry. And as soon as I connected with him, I knew that I wanted to become his friend. I got the privilege of having him and his team taking my sales training. So when we were getting launched with this whole visionary effect, and I was thinking, who are the key people that I would like to invite because they made a difference in their lives through this business? I couldn't help but think about you because, we're living the American dream, and you're living the American dream in the most beautiful state of this whole nation and in the restoration industry. So Ruy Brito, or how we would say in Brazil, where we're from, Ruy, so nice to have you here, man. Thank you very, very much. It's a privilege.
Charlie, thank you very much for inviting me. I feel honored, having a person very well known in the industry for giving excellency on, how to properly reach out to people and how, educate your clients. And I'm happy to be here.
Man, thank you very, very much. All right. So the visionary effect. So the first question that I asked all of the guests here in the podcast is, what was the first big goal that you had in your life, that big vision that you accomplished? And so we're going to talk about the big goal vision that you accomplished and how you went about accomplishing that.
That's an interesting question. I realized throughout my whole life, I always oh, well, would it be nice to go to certain school, play certain sport. It didn't exactly happen the way it was planning, but was always kind of, landing pretty nearby. And I was kind of, oh, that's interesting, you know? And I realized if you have, something that you desire or you want to pursue, you pretty much you feel that, right? And then you envision and why I want to do that and how I gonna get there. And then you start going after which, trying to get directions for, which will be the best way to get there. That's kind of how it went.
Okay, so coming from southern Brazil, this what I call the civilized part of Brazil, because I say that above Sao Paulo, it's like go with the flow. It's the last. We are not as much of planners as you very well behaved people from the south of Brazil. So let's talk about your journey leaving Brazil, coming to America, and first of all accomplishing that goal, because I don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is for us immigrants, not only to come here but to build an honest life in this country. So tell us a little bit about that journey from growing up in Brazil and coming here, and then we're going to tie that into you joining the industry.
Yeah, initially, as a lot of people oh, let's go check Hawaii because it's a beautiful place. I have friends here. Let's visit, and I saw potential for the lifestyle that I was seeking, which was there's to do with surf. No, I'm not a professional surfer. I'm far away from that. Technical skills apart and bureaucracy aside, I started when I moved after few visits, and make everything straight out. After I moved to Hawaii, I got a job in a ranch. And that was something back in Brazil. I was like, oh, what if you move to Hawaii and work with horses, for an instance, right? Whoa. Yes. But that's the catch. Wasn't the way, I wasn't like a riding horses all the time. I was more of like a hands-on, stable boy, but still, was right there. I envision myself working with horses. So you gotta be a little bit more specific. And I got the opportunity to work with a carpet cleaning company, a local, well-established company.
Wow.
And and then like, okay, well, how do I grow into this? Just carpet cleaning, it's servicing, everybody's happy with what I do, I provide. And then I saw the restoration side of it. Was still um, pretty strict. They would do like there was a favor tech, and that guy was handling all the water and mold jobs, mainly water. And then like, okay, how do I educate myself? What can I do to get there? How can I? And then I start studying. Management of the company changed, and then my business partner, Lidio Kreski, he decided to open EcoClean Hawaii. Was that we didn't have a name yet? He like, oh, help you with the name. We kind of help out. He opened up. Was a one-man army. And but since the beginning, I was helping them out, with like a big project here and there. And 2012, we consolidated, and then I became a partner.
That's amazing. So we're going back to, when did you start? 2008? Is that when you started with your company?
2006, EcoClean Hawaii was established. And then 2012, I became a full-time, I had like some other gigs and odd jobs here and there. But 2012, that's I'm gonna decide what to do for my life. Was my daughter was just born. My landscape back in the day business partner, like, oh yeah, I want to buy your share of the property. It's like, that's it.
That's awesome.
Lidio said, like, what, drop everything. Let's join forces, and let's create this mighty two-man army. And
that's amazing.
And we started 2, and now we have 17.
That's amazing.
And it's still growing.
And it's another thing that we have in common. We both joined the industry in 2006. I mean, we're going on 2 decades here, my friend. What a journey. So with that, starting the company officially, and right when your daughter's born, selling your landscaping business and all of that, what would you say, looking back, was the biggest highlight of your almost 2 decades in the industry?
I would say like we do, like, people like, what you guys do. We bring solutions, but it's based, like, it's strongly based, especially in Hawaii. I think this is everywhere, but like, especially here, relationship building. That's, what business. This is not my words. I went to this seminar the other day, and they got like, you in the people business. You are there to do it, people. So what is it? Relationships. That's the main thing. Oops, technical issues. This is the main, like, how you address, how you carry yourself, how you deal with people, how you provide your services, how you disclose things. You have a foresight. You're gonna go there and just tell what the clients want to listen, or are you gonna tell them the truth? How do you tell this truth? How you present, oh, I want you to do this way. Okay, Mrs. Jones, I think this way not gonna work. I recommend you this because we have the experience. I'm following guidelines, regulations, and and the ultimate decision is the homeowner, is the building owner. I'm here just to advise, but this is my professional recommendation.
Good. Very good. I love it. What are, when you look at your upbringing, and this is a question that, and I work with people from all different walks of life, but I had a client one time that said, Richelli, the fact that you're an immigrant, you bring this extra thing about you, which is you go for opportunities and you never let an opportunity not be addressed. You have this hunger within you. And in his words, not mine, he said, I don't know if it's because you had to fight so hard to come to this country and build a life for yourself, but he said a lot of times, because the journey is so hard for us who are immigrants to start, brand new. And I did, you're starting in a different country. How did some of that prepare you to start in a new industry when you already had a daughter, already had another business, and you're like, nope, I'm gonna take this opportunity and I'm gonna start fresh. Do you see any similarities in the situations that might have prepared you to just start fresh in a new industry because you had to start fresh in a new country, or do you think that that doesn't really apply to your life?
Yes, yes. I spent like a while, in Brazil, like a pre-college thing. I joined the army as a temporary officer. I
Mhm.
still was doing my college, like a degree at nighttime, but that gave me like that put me in certain scenarios that like are very uncomfortable situations.
Mhm.
Okay, even oh yeah, you guys at peace. Yeah, we are at peace, but was very uncomfortable situations that you have like a limited resources, materials, and you gotta take action. And I believe this really helped me, even that like I'm a law school college dropout.
I can't believe
That
that too. Come on, my
yeah,
friend. Come
didn't
on.
fit
We're like
five
twins. I
years,
can't
and then like
believe that. Oh, another law school dropout. Love it.
one more for the team,
One more.
and that gave me like some kind of malleability, I would say, and plasticity to deal with like difficult situations.
Yeah.
And once you hear, yeah, my mother was an English teacher. English is not my mother tongue. Let's be clear here. And yeah, the heavy accent. Oh, sorry, I can understand what you're saying. Sometimes you don't know if people are really mocking you or they don't understand. And and you gotta gotta navigate through all these challenges. And you can just conform and that's what it is, and it's not gonna change, and feel sorry for yourself, or you kind of you know what, boy, it's time for you to step up. You gotta polish you gotta communicate better. You gotta tune up, and every single day you I think you gotta try to be a better person. The Rui from today, he must have some improvement from the one a week 10 days ago, even if
Agree.
it's like small. They're not going to be like but like it's baby steps, but that's how
Agree.
we climb,
Yeah.
right?
Agree. And you know what I find interesting too, and this is not the case for every immigrant or anything, but a lot of us as immigrants, we left a life in Brazil. You went to university, you went to law school, I went to law school, and I remember that I came here as a nanny on an all-payer program, right? I remember I was doing the math the other day of how much I got paid per hour. I was getting paid less than $1 an hour to be a nanny because I live with this family. And when people ask me, like, what do you think was the impact of that in your journey of joining this industry? And I think that for me, the word is humility, because when people think of success out there in the world, they think of, you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor or this and that, and they don't really see sometimes the value of being in an industry like ours, which we are recession resilient, because for as long as people have their homes, they're going to pay insurance. And the reality is, crap happens. I was looking at some statistics the other day that 1/3 of all the households in an area will have a plumbing need. And we know that up to 70% of all this service plumbing that happens is something that has to do with water. So they're going to need us. So there's statistics that shows that anywhere between 7 to 15% of the households will need us, right? So we are recession resilient, but it's not fancy. What we do is not fancy. My first day in the industry, having to do a pack out for a fire that happened in East Oakland, in San Francisco Bay Area, on the wrong side of the tracks, in a dangerous neighborhood. It's not fancy, but it needs to be done. And we have seen a lot of people making a good living for themselves and their family because they were able to be humble about exploring something that is not glorified but has potential. So, what can you tell us about your journey as an owner of your company and the successes that you guys have had along the years? Like, what would tell us a little bit about your? Let's start with we start with the good, and then we talk about the bad and the ugly. What was your best year so far, and what do you attribute that success to?
Uh, 22 was really good. 21 was great.
21 was great.
Uh, but I would say like I mainly relationship building,
Yeah.
right? We have like one of like our biggest clients, and they when they have something is hairy, it's big, it's historical building, sensitive. They cannot stop the work, and then we gotta go there kind of this booklet, booky, discreetly, flex the muscles, but like be almost like invisible, and make sure we do not disturb their operations at the as best as practical,
That's
right?
awesome.
And
So that's the best year,
it's
2021. So COVID time, I think that this is amazing. This is mind-boggling. COVID era, you had your best year because of this industry.
yes, and remember, COVID was the one thing like that was sketchy. Nobody wanna deal with it. We all got like, oh, let's start quarantine. Stuff started a little later here in Hawaii, but we realized that like plumbers, electricians, HVAC people, and of course restoration companies, they became essential.
Wow.
It's not like just the first responders, police, firefighter, paramedics, ambulance. No, these professions, they became essential.
Amazing.
Still restoration, I see like as an issue is not recognized, especially like insurance uh, point of view or trades. What's restoration? It's not like I'm a plumber, I'm a carpenter, I'm a mason. It's something that gotta be enforced, or we all I'm sure throughout the country, restoration business owners and all the restorers, they want to have this recognition officially from maybe a board of commerce, local state. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you in restoration business, why don't you get yourself a license, right?
Interesting.
That would be something that would elevate this industry. I'm certain about it.
So I love that the good, we starting with a business that boomed during a time that was so hard for everybody. And I have had so many other people say the same thing. So way to go. So we talked about the good. Let's talk about the bad, and let's talk about the ugly. What was the worst year that you guys had in your business? Because you talked about the best one in 2021 in relationships. What was like the worst one for you, and why do you think it was so bad?
I think like last year we dropped a little bit. This year is quite awkwardly slow. And I start like, okay, what we doing wrong? We have like a sales program. Like reaching out to people. We
Mm-hmm.
going to we getting in front of like prospects that you never even dreamed about
Mm-hmm.
it, and still like what's going on. And I went to a couple seminars throughout the year. This, on the other hand, is the year that I travel the most for work. You know, seminars, courses, all this kind of stuff, and was something that like it came from people from the mainland stating like, okay, this year is probably one of the lowest into the restoration business.
Hmm. Interesting.
Okay. One thing probably not gonna play a big toll for Hawaii is like a major, hurricanes and tornadoes, like a natural disasters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we didn't have that much, all despite of the tragedy that happened last year in Lahaina. and Maui, right?
Yeah, that was really sad.
Yeah, that was sad. That was maybe avoidable, but who am I
A
to fight
conversation
fingers?
for another day, and maybe
That's a
Portuguese.
conversation for
Yes.
another day. Yeah, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
But the economy also, it's not that good, and the insurance coverage, at least that's in general for condo, and especially this impacts Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
The so we have the deductibles are higher,
Mm-hmm.
premiums jacked up. A
Mm.
lot of homeowners, what? Oh, do I need to do this? Can you guys just try this out? And like, oh, this is dirty water. I want to just do the basic, or I pay out of pocket. Can you guys give me deal? Because they are afraid of use their policy.
Yeah.
You know,
And you know what's interesting about that? The other day, I was talking to a restoration owner who also is an insurance agent, and he was walking us through we I had to sketch this out, which I call the VIP claims scope program, and that's the biggest pitch, if you will, to insurance agents. Like, call us, and we are going to assess things for you. And one of the things that he was saying is that agents do want to prevent losses from being filed because they can lose their bonus. And not only that, depending on how much, depending on the impact on their loss ratio, the carrier might make a mandate for them to audit all their clients, which is a very challenging thing. And what he was saying that I thought was very interesting was he said, but what does that do for our industry? He said, owners who are creating programs that they can facilitate self-pay are the ones that are going to get the best results moving forward. And that was his opinion. We're still discussing a little bit about that, but he was talking exactly about what you were seeing over there in Hawaii, which is the impact on premiums, and real estate is so expensive over there, and some of the dynamics in politics with the state of Hawaii, and some of the things that are impacting the industry. So you're essentially saying that this year has been a year that you and I have to find a way for me to fly out there and train the whole team. I need to pay my way into going over there so we can turn the team into a sales-driven organization. Very good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about lessons learned. So you've been in the industry like me for close to 2 decades. Knowing then what you know now, what are some of the things that you would have started doing for your business year one?
going after licensing, not just the certifications, but the local, like a contractor's license.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get yourself, even dealing with certain customers.
Mm-hmm.
You can have like some mechanisms to go after the money if they don't pay.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanical liens, for example, Hawaii, if you have a license, you can go and have a mechanical lien. If you don't, right? Okay, other thing, systems in place. Very important. Systems like SOPs, standard operational procedures. You might the more the merrier, but it's not just we have a plan. I think Eisenhower should say that one. I'm not quite sure, but having a plan in the shelf, how good is this?
Mm-hmm.
Just have the plan, but a planning, yes, it's important. So you want to have all that literature that you're going to create yourself. You're going to see what is suitable, what's doable, but you got to stick with it and process in place for everything. Oh, lead intake, where is this leads coming from? Okay, who is the next on the line? Oh, that's I'll send you the production team, mitigation manager, abatement, whoever, right? But having the automated process of how we're gonna handle that lead, that client, the claim, it's crucial. This is especially for you out there, you're a business owner. Other than that, you're gonna start at 5 a.m. and it's 11 p.m. and still in your desk without a meal, without a shower, without whatever, running after. After what? You don't even know, right? Because there's always going to have something kind of, oh, it's overwhelming. No, it's baby steps.
Hmm.
Like, oh, one day, no, it's day one. This is, I would say, like, would you be, it's basic, it's crucial.
And I love that you said that because obviously being from my neck of the woods, being from Rio, cariocas, as we're called, are known for winging it. You don't, you just figure it out as you go about things. And I kind of think it's funny because when me and my husband, who is from California, we moved to Brazil and we lived in Rio, and we traveled to São Paulo and other areas too. But he said, there's something wrong about people from Rio. They look at your face and they pretend that they know, but then they don't, right? And he was like, but you are not like that, and why? And I accredit a lot of that to having gone to law school, and it's part of my personality too. But going to what you said, I think it's very important. SOPs, creating those standing operating procedures, because at the end of the day, and I don't know if you agree with this, but this is something that I tell my clients a lot. We don't manage people. We create manageable systems, SOPs, and we coach willing individuals on how to manage themselves to accomplish those goals, right? So SOPs. Okay, very good. SOPs and licenses. What would you say was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome in those last 2 decades as being a restorer?
Getting like okay, one of them, like getting the right personal, that's very important. And this is not just for me, but like I realized, like especially after COVID, people like start getting like some paychecks from government, whatever. Like look like the post-COVID workforce got. I think they lost the edge a little bit, or a little, and people, they don't seem hungry anymore. They're like, okay, you know what, let's hands on, let's get this done. I'm grateful for the team that I have, but it's also always kind of like a hard to find a new person
Very
that like I
challenging.
can integrate that team. And but I would say like for that, you not necessarily like depending on, for starting, you don't need like the most certified technician. Oh, I'm in the industry for 10 years, 20 years, whatever. You might want to get somebody like, oh, I'm willing to learn. I can be here on time. Can you listen? Yes. Can you be here on time? Can you drive? Can you take directions without grumbling? And yes, that's a great start.
Are you Brazilian? No, no, no. We're not talking about that. We're not hiring only Brazilians. No, I agree with you. The world post-COVID is a bit scary because I feel like it's, every now and then when I have to hire on behalf of my clients, it's one of the things that I say. I'm like, things are tough. People don't, common sense is not that common anymore. People are not doing what they have to do. And I agree with you. Once again, let's hire on culture, let's hire on desire, and let's teach them, with our SOPs, the processes. So yeah, that's a big challenge too. What would be the biggest advice that you would have given yourself in 2006 when you started this business?
Many, huh?
Top three.
The biggest, okay, the top three. This is something that I hear all the time, and it's like do not grow too fast.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Mm-hmm. And why is
Don't grow
that?
too fast.
And why is that?
Everybody that grew too fast, and everybody that told me that they grew too fast, and they hit their face in the wall. They
I've
face
seen that
plant
too.
at some point. Some overcame, some, like, the company was dismantled, bought, and like you cannot grow too fast. You gotta like gradually. You need the systems in place,
Mm-hmm. Very good.
right?
Very good.
Um,
Number two.
Number two, I hate saying no. We don't like to say no. Can you do that? Yeah, before like, yeah, let's go. And then like read even that you hungry, see who we are dealing with.
So not every
You know,
client's a good client.
clients, other like a contractors, subcontractors, see if that job fit. Oh, I need that. Oh, it's so much money. You know, can you okay, one the second one would say like would be the forecasting your business, which is something like it might take a while for you to know how to, you know, how much money is coming in, what's my budget, where do I reinvest this. And the forecast is something a little bit more complicated. You need a little bit more technical knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, you need it, but it's pretty much like you gotta put time into certain things.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, you gotta learn how to say no.
Yeah.
To
And
clients, to coworkers,
to
to
opportunities.
peers,
Yeah.
to opportunity. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you kind of like, I'm not ready for. Are you ready for this? But a lot of times you like, you know, yeah, you know, let's go back. Let's see what happens. Let me make it happen.
Let's jump in the ocean. Let's catch the wave, right?
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, don't be afraid. As long as you know, like you know, like you see, like we don't have the capability of doing that alone by ourselves. Can you do this? Oh yeah, uh, we can. No, can you share the burden? Can you bring resources? Oh yeah, why did you ask for help? For help, you might gotta share the profit, but that's, you know, why not?
Better 10% of something than 100% of nothing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
And I love that you said that too, because this is another thing that I would have that I would tell my old self. Have your ideal client profile. I was working with a client recently and we spent 90 days, we spent 3 months creating their ideal client profile. And that turned into ideal client profile for the person that, you know, whose job is, meaning, you know, the one that's dealing with the damage, as well as the ideal client profile from a perspective of the referral source. What is my ideal plumber to get work from? My ideal roofer, my ideal HVAC, my ideal, you know, you guys have a lot of multifamily over there. Like, what am I looking for in a multifamily space? And I think that that is one of the things that a lot of times will hurt people because they are saying yes to every opportunity without really knowing what they want. I usually say that it's like dating. We should have a type. And if we don't know exactly what we want, let's start with what we don't want, right? Um, back in the days when I was unfortunately single, I'm so happily married, but when I was unfortunately single in California, I remember somebody one time saying, I will never date her. She's too aggressive. And looking back, it's like, great, this guy had an ideal client profile. And instead of just being the kind of guy or girl that will say yes to everybody. And I think that that in business and in life, it's a tough lesson to learn, especially in the beginning when we were desperate, when we're trying to make a mark, when we're trying to get more business. Some business is bad business. So can you share with us, maybe without mentioning names, a bad story of like a client that you're like, I should have not signed that job?
there was one, but we couldn't kind of. That was for a property management company that we have a very good relationship. But that lady, oh, she was not from this helm, you know, was from the lower state of. That was really bad. Was a messy job. Was a plumbing backflow in a high-end property, and we went there a couple times before, and she was always like, you know, oh yeah, I'll be here at certain time. And but again, we're doing the work for the client, not for her, and it's a hazard environment. There was like a pretty much like a Cat 3 water, all solids all over the
Oh,
first and second
oh
floor,
no.
and the way to go is like go there, you got to extract and rip the carpet off and tax, all the. And then the lady got back in the end of the day. I think we start early morning. Then we got to the back of the day, furious. You guys, how come this is not ready? Like, are you crazy? Well, I've seen people remove and replace the carpet in the same day. Like, this is not a carpet replacement. This is a mess. That was quite complicated. I wish I could have said no for that. But like there was other clients that, we start seeing a certain, what I would say like ideal client is the one that like, I don't want to say easy to work it, right? You don't have like a easy to deal with, but like a easier, manageable, people that are going to listen to your professional advice. And maybe it's like, okay, you know what, Richelli, I understand what you're telling me, but this way, this time we gotta do, this way. You gotta say, okay. But then you have that too much of resistance, and I'm telling you what's the right way to do. And then you have the client going the other way, like, oh no, that's the way. Like, oh, no, look, I'm the professional. You want me to do this way, your way, we do your way. But you gotta understand this is not the right way. As long as you sign the waivers, and the responsibility will be upon you. Okay, fine. But some people are like, oh no, we just want to charge me for more, like a charge from that's a scope of work. Mm-hmm. This is my professional recommendation. And then you get into a point like I'm gonna this is not gonna work.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that there are a few philosophies that I usually share with people. Desperation can kill your business because you're not going to be strategic. Number two, one of the things that I tell them, especially when we talk about the salespeople and the BDMs, I say creativity can be the killer of productivity, because we talk about the numbers like you and I were talking about. It takes, people don't know this, and I revisit this with people so many times. In the first year that you're restarting a campaign, for every 3 accounts that you visit with every single month, you can produce about 1 lead per year. So if people really want those 10 leads every month, they are going to need to be in and out of their car 15 to 20 times a day prospecting. And I know in Hawaii is a bit different, especially Oahu, and it's not like you're going to go to another island. So things are different, but you needed to make up in numbers what you lack in market penetration. So that's the second thing that I tell to people. And the third one is have a scorecard of expectations for everybody that you work with, so that they know, through your ICP, your ideal client profile, these are the plumbers we're looking for. This is also the water damages we're trying to sign, so that people don't become all creative and they break the standard operating procedures, and then you have a bigger problem to deal with. Yeah.
Yes, there's time for all. Let me be creative. And let me be, it's time to execute, like, because you can't just be like wondering, like, oh yeah, let's do this. How about that? And what strategy? And sometimes like as Napoleon would say, it's time for action. Just just attack. Just go start. Especially something kind of a little bit hard. Oh, I'm kind of shy. How do I do? You in a back in the day, you a teenager and you wanna in a party. If you don't go out and ask, nobody gonna go dance with you. Nobody gonna go talk to you. Oh, but it's so hard. Like, yeah, and it's gonna be even harder as you sit here for the rest of the night.
Yep.
Right? Or you become a wallflower. You gotta go out. You gotta take action. And this is the other thing you asked, like, oh, what would you be a great advice for the back in the day? It's invest on the operations. You want to have your operations ready, and then you pump the gas on the marketing strategy, the sales and marketing. But you want to be ready, because if you just, go out there and people are going to start calling you like, oh, I cannot take that volume. But that's a good problem to have, right? That's a good problem to have. A lot of times you're going to have people like, oh, EcoClean, I never heard of you guys. You what, 20, 19 years in business? Never heard of you. Why? Because you probably just had a website here and there and never done it. Boots on the ground marketing.
I agree.
And yeah, I can have a TV ad. I don't have that, but a TV, radio, wonderful internet, whatever. Like you know, you going there, knocking at people's door. You know, oh, hi, Richelli. I learned you're a wonderful insurance agent, and I do have like some clients, you know, especially on the condo environment, that could benefit from having some, you know, guidance from you,
Yeah.
because they are not happy with, you know, I have a handful of people in a certain building XYZ. They are not having the love and care from the insurance. Can you do something about that? Oh yeah, let's see. You know, you going there. You're not just asking for a favor or asking for something. You start to, you know, I give you something too.
Yeah. I agree.
But that's like, oh, I don't have training in marketing. No, I don't. Who does? I know a place you can get them right here with Richelli. You can get that vision and start seeing like, oh yeah, this
Yeah.
really works.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank you so much for being here. I know that we are going to connect and continue to help your team to grow. But I'm thinking we are going to have to call this podcast from Brazilian surfer to restore. I think that that's the theme from our podcast today. Rui, thank you so much for this opportunity. Always nice to connect with a fellow Brazilian, and I can't believe we have all these things in common, including law school dropouts and joining the industry. So thank you very much. And everybody, please follow Rui and his company on Facebook. I think it's one thing that us as restores, we don't do a lot, is to follow and support other companies. And that helps us to see what other people are doing and see mentors. And one of the things that I'll close with is that one of the people that we should listen to are people that are on the same journey as us. So way to go. Thank you very much. And everybody, I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Richelli.